hammocks on their face.
Yeah, it's...
Get it? Dickheads? Because it's a banana hammock?
I see what you did there. Yeah,
That's
it
pretty
is.
good.
It's infuriating. Absolutely infuriating.
Yeah, so whenever I see people wearing a mask, I see this a lot. With it over the mouth, but not the nose.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is just...
Yeah. Or I see it, like, pulled up to the bottom of the nose, but still not covering it. It's just...
Yeah, that's also bad.
Butted up against it. Like, that's...
Yeah.
That's not even comfortable. Why would you do that?
That is there mainly so that we can tell that your nose is running.
Yeah, I kind of saw, like, the like, opposite of that, where it was covering just barely the tip of their nose and just barely under their bottom lips. It was just this little strip right here in the middle.
Like a sensor bar.
And it's like, there's no way.
Is this like a person that didn't realize you had to open up the surgical mask?
Possibly. I don't know. I've been making some cloth masks the past few days because I got a little bit of time and got the sewing machine out.
But yeah,
learning how to make pleats.
Yeah, my favorite is this thing that Cluze described, is with the mask down here while you're talking to someone. Like, I love Chipotle to death, but there's one woman that works at the one here in Kernersville whose mask is always down here while she's working with food, while she's talking to customers, and I'm going, if I could strangle you with my mind, I would. And half of the people at Chipotle have it not on the nose.
So, in some ways, it reminds me of, back in the before times. You guys remember the before times? Back in the before times.
Were we mad about something getting canceled in Italy?
Yeah. It was around them.
Got it.
There was this phenomena that I would witness that infuriated me, and it was primarily men who would go to the bathroom, and then when they went to wash their hands, they didn't really wash them so much as they turned on the water, got their hands briefly wet, like just the briefest of moments wet, and then turned off the water, and then maybe dried their hands, maybe didn't, and then left. And it's like, you understand that washing your hands is not like some sort of like ritual that you do, that it's just symbolic. You actually have to wash them. And I feel like what people are doing with masks these days is they're treating them as if they're symbolic. They're not really, they have no function. They're just a thing you put on because you have to put the thing on, not that it should do anything.
I think that is infuriating to me. So that they don't get chewed out for not wearing one, but they're not actually doing anything relevant with it.
Those people are, can I swear yet? Are we already recording?
I am already recording, actually.
Okay, can't swear.
They're bad.
I mean,
you can swear. It'll just be on the YouTube video. It won't be in the in the episode.
But I really want to swear a lot about that, and I just don't think I should get started. I really don't. Because
for those of you looking forward to this, I'm sure Cluze will still be mad in X minutes when we will have the odds and ends again.
Yeah, it will all be like ringtone fodder is what that's going to be.
I'm going to use him to personally test for the emergency broadcast. So.
Yeah, that's fair.
In other news, that oatmeal cream pie really helped with the taste in my mouth.
Excellent.
Oh, you got an oatmeal cream chaser. Got it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Very nice.
Okay, so I guess we should start then, huh?
All right. Have a show. Good night, everybody.
Let's do a thing.
Wait. Are we going to steeple our hands like we're plotting?
I don't know. This is just how I was sitting. I have a weird way of steepling my hands. I always have my ring fingers not steepled. They're like that. I don't know why. It's just how I do it. I noticed that I don't know, a couple years ago, and I'm like, I wonder when I started doing that.
Spider-Man.
I think it was a very long time ago.
Then so say we all.
Anyway, okay, here we go.
Here's your thumbnail.
It's not a bad thumbnail, actually. Last week, I just kind of, or not last week, but for the, for the 3 streams last week, I just went through and found a face for each of us doing something that was somewhat interesting.
Yeah.
And just cut them all out of each section.
Yeah, because I don't think it'll happen at once.
No, none of them did. It's an hour apart in some cases.
Yeah.
But okay, here we go for real now.
Okay.
Ow! Oh, jam! Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another fun-filled, there's no fun here, episode of Monday Night Magic. This is, as chat informed me, episode nice times 10. I'm not even going to say the number. You can see it, and if you're listening, then you can see it there too. So, I'm Chewie. You can tell that because if you're watching the video, it says it right under me. And over there,
not, he's the one that sounds like Chewie.
I am. Over there is Squee.
I sound like me most of the time.
Except for that one time. That was weird.
Well, I was British. Weird.
And then way over there on the other side of the screen is Cluze.
Yep, says so right down there. It's right down there. It says my name. Over there, that's Squee. Did I point the right way? Yeah, I did. That's Squee over that way. All right, great. Okay, yeah. We got it all settled. So hey, if you're new here, welcome aboard. It's nice to have you here. And we're sorry.
And apologies for Cluze's weird hat thing that's happening on his video.
Yeah, it's called a moire pattern. It's when you have a mismatch between two grids of similar sizes, usually often seen on digital sensors, quite frankly. But
how do you spell that?
Moire, I want to say.
That sounds right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I'm not really good at the whole spelling
For those of you that are curious about it, it actually is pretty neat, and it will explain why some things look really weird when you're watching TV shows where they've finally released like an upgrade from the old film. Like something might have been really fuzzy in the original movie, but now that they're doing their HD release, things that weren't a problem before are now a problem because you're digital. And things are recorded and compressed differently. So someone will walk out of nowhere and they'll have this weird fake CG Uncanny Valley shirt on that doesn't make any sense in the context of the movie.
So is that also why when you're like looking through a chain link fence and there's another one behind it, sometimes it will jump right up to your eyeballs and back?
Yes, absolutely.
A little bit, yeah. It's similar psychology.
I don't think that's psychology, but
how the brain interprets the world around it.
I think that's physiology, isn't it?
I mean, it's partially created by how your brain interprets it if you're not looking at film.
It's both, yeah.
This is what I've got
this. I've got this chair downstairs in the library, and there are some things that I'd like to take pictures of in the library because the library is a really nice setting. It's got some nice backgrounds. The lighting in there is pretty neat. But the chair, the fabric that it's made out of, is just plaid enough that I get that moire pattern on like any picture I take with
Have you considered softening the focus on your chair?
I have not.
Just plaid enough.
Just plaid enough.
That's a cover band, but I'm not sure for who.
Yeah, I don't know who either, but there you go.
A bunch of hipsters.
Chat, your number one duty this Your number one duty this show as we go forward is if anybody comes into the chat later and asks what's the deal with Cluze's hat, just say moire pattern and maybe give them a Wikipedia link. Yeah, go with that.
Or say it's just plaid enough.
Or it's just plaid enough, which might be the name of tonight's episode, but I doubt it. I've got better names, but they involve swearing.
And why is that not cool, Cluze?
Because there's no swearing on Monday Night Magic, except for that one time. I think it might have been me, as a matter of fact.
I'm pretty sure all of us have messed up at least once.
We have, yeah. Not tonight.
Exactly twice.
Look, I know that I swore a couple weeks ago on this show on purpose.
You did it on purpose. I have slept twice in the entire run of the show that I'm aware of.
I remember those. Yeah. Anyway, this is how much that we are not looking forward to talking about Magic. We are talking about how plaid things are. And
just
swearing.
Plaid enough.
So, let's get to it.
Let's hit the news, TM.
The big news is, of course, the Ban and Restricted announcement happened today.
Look at that.
And this is some
blue.
There we go. This is some stuff is what this is.
This is some stuff.
So let's start with the big one. Vintage. So usually when things happen in Vintage, it's a restriction.
That's right.
Because the only things that are banned in Vintage are anti-cards and physical
dexterity cards.
Physical
dexterity cards and logistical nightmare cards.
Yeah.
Card. Yeah. Singular.
Right.
So, with that in mind, let's see what this says. Let's see here. We've observed a rise in the popularity and win rate of vintage decks using Lurrus of the Dream Den. And for some reason, the auto card isn't working. So just as a quick reminder, in case anyone doesn't remember, Lurrus of the Dream Den is the companion. It says each permanent card in your starting deck has converted mana cost 2 or less. And during each of your turns, you may cast one permanent spell with converted mana cost 2 or less from your graveyard. And it's a 3/2 with lifelink, but that literally doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It kind of does. I mean,
Welcome
you've always
to vintage, where your curve is capping out at 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
And conspiracies. Thank you.
Yeah. Let me take a minute. I'm gonna take a digression here. I'm gonna take a host's prerogative. Let's say to just take you on a quick stroll down memory lane to explain just how momentous this is. Quite frankly. Okay. So, as
Except we didn't say what this is yet.
We didn't?
No.
Oh, damn it. Go ahead.
Okay, so that was what Lurrus was. Because of the nature of Vintage's wide card pool and powerful restricted cards, the deck building cost imposed by Lurrus is less restrictive relative to the payoff of having Lurrus as a companion. Do you remember when they day 0 banned the Otter in Commander? Because if you're playing blue-red, there was literally no cost to including it as a companion. You remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Well, they've banned Lurrus in Vintage because there's no... If you're playing lots and lots and lots of Vintage decks, all of your permanents cost 2 or less already.
Yeah, and it's your permanents. It's not all of your spells. It's just your permanents.
Yeah.
Which, I'll be honest, first time I read this card, I didn't really, that didn't all sink in, that it was just the permanents, but there it is.
Yeah, and the other thing is that normally they restrict things to, you get 1. Well, how many were you going to run? You need 1. And you had it, so they can't just do that.
Yeah, as Pharmacist Judge has pointed out in the chat, Lotus, totally seems fair.
Oh, yeah. No problem there.
You could have done. So can I digress now?
Yes, by all means.
All right, sweet. Okay, let's as Chewie alluded to, restricting is how they usually handle things in Vintage. And for those who don't play Vintage and don't understand the difference, restricting means you can only run 1 copy of that card in your deck, not 4, 1. Okay, so most of the really powerful stuff, they're like, yep, that's really good. You get 1. So Magic happens, 1994. Magic occurs. Lots of it. Anyway. At that point, very soon after, they started to go, yeah, we're going to have tournaments with this stuff, but there's some stuff we probably can't do in tournaments. One of them is anti-cards. We'll just go ahead and ban those. Another is Scheherazade, because Scheherazade, nobody really wants to play a game inside of a game. Forget that. In March of 94, they banned Time Vault. Then they banned Divine Intervention in August. Okay, so we're up to anti-cards, Scheherazade, Time Vault, Divine Intervention. That's it. In 1995... that's when Type 1, what we understand as Vintage, and Type 2, what we understand as Standard, broke apart. That year, they also banned, in Vintage, Channel, Chaos Orb, and Falling Star. Now, Chaos Orb and Falling Star, those are manual dexterity cards. Channel Fireball fame, that you ask your, I was going to say parents. Yeah, go ahead, ask your parents. Yeah. Some of your parents will have no idea what you're talking about. I'm sorry?
Tell us what your parents say when you ask them.
Yeah, please. Yeah, definitely. Whatever your parents say, put it in the comments of the YouTube video of this episode, because we'd like to see it. In May of 95, Legacy, the king of all formats, is created. That's not important to this story, but I needed to mention it because there it was. So that was 94 and 95. Okay, we got just 3 or 4 cards other than anti-cards that are banned. In 1999, Divine Intervention and Scheherazade get unbanned. Okay, so we'll just bring them back. Okay, so now we're basically Time Vault, Channel, some Dexterity cards, and anti-cards. In 2000, Channel gets unbanned. Fine, you can have it. 2007, that's right, 7 years later before we have a change in Vintage, other than restrictions. I'm ignoring restrictions because those happen like all the time. 2007, Scheherazade gets banned again because it probably should have just stayed banned the whole time, but there it is. Then we go another 7 years to 2014 when conspiracy cards are banned, because conspiracy is really all about a draft format and you're not drafting in Vintage, so just no. Then we got nothing until this year, 2020. We just ban Lurrus of the Dream Den. That's it. So right now, in Vintage, here's what you got. 49 cards are restricted. There are 26 cards that were restricted but aren't now. That's it. So you're under 100 cards that ever needed to be restricted. Some of them still restricted. Bannings, there are 38 cards in total that are banned in Vintage. Of the 38, 25 are conspiracy cards. So that's most of them right there. 9 of them are cards with anti. So that's most of the rest. What's actually banned that isn't just this would be gambling or this literally doesn't work in this format? It's Chaos Orb, Falling Star, Scheherazade, and Lurrus. Ta-da.
Yeah. 2 cards that are not accessibility friendly, one of which is a total mess for all gameplay, and now this one because the companion mechanic with the drawback on your deck here is meaningless and undermines one of the concepts of the game, which is variety, and in a format where it doesn't hurt at all.
So
now, I think that's wait. The whole undermining variety thing has nothing to do with this banning.
No, that's fair. Like Vintage as a format has more cards than anything else, and a free auto include that will go in nearly every deck is an issue. But yeah, that's not the only reason. You're right.
Well, it's also just the sheer power level without a deck building cost.
Mm-hmm.
Is really the thing here.
So this is really just banana pants, is what this is. This is just crazy that this card. It's crazy that this card exists. But the fact that it is banned in Vintage is just mind blowing. I mean, look, every week we have this discussion, usually on Monday mornings, when we're like, hey, are we going to have a show this week? This announcement happened and we're like, well, that makes that decision. We got to talk about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I don't want to do a show today. I've had a really bad day, but I don't have a choice because they banned a card in Vintage.
Yeah.
Okay, this is fair. This is fair. Stark has brought up a thing in the chat, and he's right. This is fair. We're being mildly disingenuous. This is true because their normal safety valve, which is restricting, would literally do nothing for this card.
Yeah, which I think is what Squee said, right?
Yeah, a bit ago. Yeah. But yeah, like they can't use the normal solution for this, so it's either ban it or deal with it. Yeah. And they don't want to deal with it, so they banned it. There isn't another option. They're not going to be like, you can have this, but you can't let it do its game mechanic. There's no way they're doing that. The card's in or it's not.
But it is yet another example of, okay, what cards are problems, right? If you just think about in the history of Magic, what cards are, other than blue cards, what cards are problems? The cards that are problems are cards that circumvent costs, essentially. Mm-hmm. Now, that cost can be an explicit cost, like a mana cost, so something like, and yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say it because I don't really like it because it irritates the crap out of me. I'm going to go ahead and say it, and that is like Force of Will, where the mana cost, you've got an alternate casting cost that is basically no big deal in the formats where it's played. But even worse than that, I just wanted to get in and dig it at Force of Will. It's fine. It's fine. You need it to keep the combos in check. I get it. You don't have to tell me. No, but cards like Phyrexian mana cards, okay, where we took the idea of a mana cost and we're like, oh, just use life instead. That'll be fine. And don't get me wrong, I get it. It's flavorfully interesting. But they were a problem and shouldn't have been printed, quite frankly. Here's one where one of the costs is that you've got this deck building restriction, but that cost doesn't really apply in this format. And so it's basically all upside is what it is.
Yeah. Like I said, it's the same line of reasoning that led them to ban the Otter and Commander is there's no cost for including it, and in a lot of decks there's literally no cost for including it. So, and it makes those decks really good.
Yeah.
I think in the entirety of Magic cards, whenever they try to use deck building restrictions as a control level and just make a card that's super busted, but you can only run in certain deck scenarios, that's fine. People build those decks. Like, that's why Delver of Secrets works. Like, you just build the deck around the busted card if the card is busted enough. And then there's not a drawback because that's the deck you have. Like, the only deck building restriction that I can think of that actually did its job would be one that Cluze hates, that requires your library have 200 cards in it.
Oh god, don't even get me started on that card.
But like, that's a real drawback. Like, that's a real, your deck is very different situation, and it does water down your option. So like, that's something. But most of the time when you're running a normal sized deck and you get this cool thing and you just are restricted in cards, and the restriction isn't you can only play bad cards with it, then they're going to do that and it's going to get busted. Here the restriction is even less, and in a format where getting free things, every turn is even more busted. So have that. It's a perfect storm.
Now, philosophically, there's a thing going on here, and it's something that Morrow has talked about a little bit on the Twitters and probably, let's say, Instagram. I don't know. You can't really read Instagram stuff anymore unless you're logged in now, and that really pisses me off. But anyway, philosophically, this is something that I encounter when making exams for classes. Okay. You can go like really easy or really hard. It's really difficult to hit the mark exactly, right? So I can make an exam that's too easy. I can make an exam that's too hard. But to make an exam that is just the right balance of hard or easy is really difficult. They can do the same thing in R&D, right? They can make cards that are totally safe and it's not going to break anything in any format, or they can make cards that are really innovative. And it's really hard, I think, to hit the mark of making stuff that is innovative but isn't going to break anything. And so what Morrow is asking is, which would you rather do? That we occasionally break stuff, or that we make things that are always safe? And I think that that's an interesting thing to ponder philosophically. I mean, sure, we've had a lot of format upset lately, but we've also had a lot of interesting mechanics lately. We've had a lot of interesting design space probed. Maybe that's the way to describe it. And so I don't know. It's just something to think about. I don't think that we should necessarily rush to grab the pitchforks, because we don't like to encourage that sort of thing around these parts. At the same time, maybe they could not break everything so much all the time.
I mean, they don't break everything so much all the time. Like, that's the thing. Like, some things are better than others, but if we look at the grand scheme of things that they've broken in the big scale, we're looking at Affinity being super busted, Phyrexian Mana being a bad idea that still didn't result in cards getting banned. And
although some of them have been in various formats now.
Yeah, but like at the time, because like, remember, they're building for Standard.
Yeah.
And like, they've said that many times. They build for Standard. They sometimes factor in things that are good for older formats, but Standard is where the balance concerns are, and they're not afraid of banning things in old formats when it gets busted. Like, we had Commons getting banned a few years ago when like the Treasure Cruise et al. Nonsense popped out because older formats just had a party with it. But I think that they're learning something here, which is that every time they give us too much consistency, something bad happened. And I do think that the consistency is the biggest stretch on these, because there's a big concern that if you play Magic, it's not chess. Like, that's usually the comparison. Chess, everything could go the same way every time. There's no variance. There's no randomness. People show up with the same tools.
Unless there's a cat in the house.
Well, that is superseding all gaming.
That is true, yeah.
But, like, there's no real variance. And so in chess, if someone is better than someone else, they will win nearly every time. Like, that's the point. Whereas in Magic, we have the mana system, and we have Mana Screw, Mana Flood, whatever, as little variances so that it doesn't always go that way, and you've got a chance of beating someone that's better than you. When you take a lot of the variants out and you give people, well, you can always start with this card, or, you know, things to that nature, then you lose a lot of that. And that's one of its big edges. Like, I've played other card games where the resources are set and you will always go up one level. Like, that's technically how Hearthstone works, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like that factors heavily into deck design, but it also cuts down on total variety if you don't have the level of flexibility that a game like Hearthstone plays with. With Magic, where we've seen plenty of, you know, tournament formats where all of the leading decks are running an overlapping like 50 cards, and it's just a matter of what you do a little bit on the side. Like, those get worn out faster, but they still have that randomness going on. Like, starting with specific cards means, did I win the coin toss? This is my play line now. And that's not really what people like in general for their Magic. I mean, blue players do everything they can to achieve that, but the price they're paying for getting that consistency is that they're generally playing cards that on the surface are weaker, and also they don't get to eat lunch.
I thought the price was their soul.
You don't have a soul in Play Blue. That's already paid for by the Orzhov. But yeah, I think that this mechanic is touching a lot of things. Like, you'll notice they're not banning the mechanic or all of the cards the way they've done with other things before.
Like, we'll get to that in a few minutes.
But like, in none of the formats have they banned all companion. Like, the restrictions that they put on your deck building have different impacts in different areas. The overall idea they're still comfortable with to some extent.
I like the way we haven't finished getting through the first format and they're already going off on companions as a whole.
Yeah. That's the conversation.
Right. So that was vintage. Let's do legacy.
Sure. The king of all formats.
Sure. So, Lurrus of the Dream Den is banned there too.
Yep. Same reasons.
For the same reasons, yeah.
They even copy-pasted the description.
Because if you're playing Legacy, then there are a lot of decks that just can throw in a Lurrus into the sideboard, and it's it literally doesn't hurt you at all.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but there's another one, and that's Zirda the Dawnwaker. And again, the auto card isn't working, so let's go look at the pretty elemental fox. This is the one that says each permanent card in your starting deck has an activated ability. That is the companion restriction. Which, okay. And then abilities you activate that aren't mana abilities cost 2 less to activate. Okay? But it can't reduce it to less than 1. And also you can pay 1 and tap Zirda. And target creature can't block this turn, and it's a 3/3. Those parts literally don't matter.
No.
So
not for this discussion.
It says they're seeing very high win rates among decks using Zirda as a companion in combination with Grim Monolith. And because I don't play this, my first thought was, wait, Grim Monolith is a mana ability. Nope! Pay 4 to untap Grim Monolith is the activated ability that it's using. So now it's pay 2 to untap Grim Monolith, which you then tap for 3. Which means it's a 2-card infinite mana combo.
Yep.
Oh, that's terrible.
So two cards, one, 2, to make infinite mana. That's ridiculous.
You'll like this combo. You've already got one of the cards.
So they say it's not yet widely played, but the metagame data indicates that these decks would become problematic, and so they're just going to axe it now.
Yeah.
They're like, we see that it will become the boogeyman as more people figure it out.
Or it would have.
So we're just going to stop it before it does.
Yeah.
And yeah, that seems good.
Correct path.
Yeah. So, okay, those are the Eternal formats. Wow. That's pretty big. So let's move on to Brawl, We've got one that I think will surprise nobody. Draneth Magistrate has been banned in Brawl. This is the 2-mana 1/3. Your opponents can't cast spells from anywhere other than their hands. This just shuts off so many cards and decks in Brawl that they just decided to get rid of it.
Can you cast a commander with that?
No.
Give it to the command zone? Yeah, that's a format problem now, isn't it?
Yeah. So the previous thing that they have gotten rid of for similar reasons is the Sorceress Spyglass.
Yeah.
So you could name, well, abilities on your opponent's commander, for instance. And so they did that because it shuts down just too many things, and Draneth Magistrate does the same thing. So that one feels good. That was fun.
That one makes sense.
Oh yeah, and Brawl lets you use Planeswalkers as commanders too. That's another reason Sorceress Spyglass is out. Good point, thank you, chat. But then there's the one. There seems to always be one ban where people go, "Wait, what?" And they have banned Winota, Joiner of Force. I can't talk. Joiner
of Forces.
Mowage.
Winota, Joiner of Forces.
So Winota is the 4-mana 4/4 in red and white. It says whenever a non-human creature you control attacks, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may put a human creature card from among them onto the battlefield tapped and attacking. It gains indestructible until end of turn. The rest of the go on the bottom in a random order. Okay. And they're saying, let me just read this straight and then we'll translate into English. On the balance side of things, we're seeing that high win rates of decks using Winota, Joiner of Forces, as a commander are leading to increased play rates. And reduced diversity of play experiences for Brawl players. To translate that is, it's really good, and so more people are playing it.
Yeah.
Which is what happens when something's really good. But okay, let's read on. While we're generally more tolerant of win rate outliers in Brawl than in formats with a more competitive spirit behind them, we're choosing to make a change here in order to open up more viable choices for self-expression in the Brawl metagame. Unless your choice of self-expression is Winota, obviously.
Yeah.
So this one, they're saying that they're banning the most popular thing so that people will play other things.
That's not usually the rationale that we follow in these.
It just. So is the next best thing gonna be banned?
If 60 to 70% of people play it, probably.
I mean, do we have a 60 to 70% of people playing it? We don't have that information here. Did they say that somewhere, or are you just pulling a number out of your ass?
If my ass is the chat, then yes.
That is a 60+% win rate, not 60+%.
Ah, that was a misread then.
Yeah. But that's also got the word apparently in it, so you can't even trust that.
Fair.
But
clearly, it's a high enough win rate that they decided to ban a card for being good.
Yeah. And
we don't get those numbers anymore. So
like I said, that one just blows me away. They're like, in this casual-ish format, people like a card too much, so we're going to ban it. What? I think it's their wording that bothers me. They're like, this is really good, so a lot of people are playing it, so now no one can play it.
Yeah, usually when cards get banned, it's because they're doing something unintended or something that other people can't interact with to beat it. And here they're just like, it's real good, you guys, and like everyone's playing it. Because we don't know the numbers, as stated. Like, we don't really get those anymore. But in the past, we definitely have had ridiculously powerful cards that most decks try to run with, but they didn't get banned for being in too many decks. So, or even too many winning decks. It's usually just this is something that destroys the entire metagame. Hard to tell that from this description.
Yeah. Now, Magnus in the chat is saying it is very fast for Brawl. And his anecdote, I found it very frustrating to play against. You were typically dead before you could set anything up. And that I could understand.
Mm-hmm.
If they, hinted at that at all. But I really think that probably is a thing. They just didn't say it here. And since this is what people go by, they really should spell stuff out here. Because literally what they said, I'm going to say it one more time. This is what they said. This is really good, so too many people are playing it.
Reduce diversity of play experiences.
Yeah. In a casual format.
It's a weird descriptor to give as rationale when, we've been trying really hard to get people to not yell ban it whenever something looks really, really good.
Exactly.
Like, this is giving fuel to the wrong fire. But we'll see, I guess. I don't know.
Chat asks, is this better or worse than we don't ban for CEDH, but this time we did? This isn't that bad.
Yeah. Like, Brawl as a format is already something that I don't think most things are built thinking about, so I wouldn't be surprised if we ran into some more of this. And maybe they're just setting the precedent that if things get miserable, they'll just ban cards, even if they're not game-breaking, just to shake it up. Which, weird precedent to set, but going off the description we have here, that's what I'm taking from it.
I have a conspiracy theory.
Oh, God.
You ready?
Sure.
They did this just so people would talk about Brawl.
Ah!
Oh, it's like
Actually, I don't know how popular Brawl is, to be honest with you. I've only played it a couple of times and it was great, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I had to resize y'all's windows. I just realized. You remember I had to resize the first one?
Yeah.
But I didn't resize the small ones here on this screen. Your little green line was meant. Discord had another update to the way things are set up on the screen on Discord, so all my windows got screwed up.
Yeah.
In case anyone happened to be watching going, what is going on with their windows?
Yeah.
Anyway.
There you go.
So, yeah. Now, none of that is actually the important bit. Okay, the vintage ban is pretty big. But let's read on. Okay? Okay, they say they're going to continue watching the evolution of the metagames in the other formats, including Standard, Pioneer, and Modern. As of now, we're seeing a diverse and dynamic metagame that changes from week to week in Standard, Pioneer, and Modern. Before determining whether any changes are necessary and what the right changes would be, we need to see the metagame come closer to an equilibrium state. Currently, these formats are shifting too quickly for data to include what, if any, card or archetype poses a problem. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, this goes back to when I yelled at Magic players for immediately saying companions should be banned on, the first week.
Yeah.
I caught crap for that. People were like, oh my god, Chewie, you don't even play Magic. And yet, here we are. The formats are shifting every week as people try to figure out what's better. And you'll notice, even me, who barely pays attention to what actual, pro Magic players are saying, I've noticed that what they're talking about is different every few days. And that's awesome that the formats are continuing to do this. And if they just keep doing this the whole time, that's good for the format, right? If the metagame is constantly shifting every week, that means it doesn't become stale and solved. Yeah. And that's what's currently going on. So, ha. Now,
if you pour all the format into a bucket and you swing it around over your head, you're good as long as it keeps moving. As soon as it stops, you're going to be covered in format.
Ew. And that stuff does not wash off easily.
No. It takes like 2 years for it to rotate if you're lucky.
Now, there's another paragraph here. We're aware of some players' concerns about the frequency at which they encounter decks using companions across several formats.
Did someone send them a pizza?
Do what?
Did someone send them a pizza? Is that why they're
Nah. You want to explain
no,
that?
No. I want people to have to look that one up. Okay.
While we're not currently seeing problematic win rates in Standard, Pioneer, or Modern from decks using companions, we are looking at overall metagame share and potential for repetitive gameplay, the variance thing that Squee keeps bringing up. If we see signs of long-term health issues resulting from a high metagame share of companion decks, this is the important part, are you ready? We're willing to take steps up to or including changing how the companion mechanic works. For now, metagames need more time to evolve before we can determine whether changes are necessary. Wow.
That's spicy.
So hang on, let's jump over. Nope, not Winota. Let's jump to one of these companions. Oh, how about Lurrus? Lurrus is always a problem.
He's a popular kid.
Notice on Lurrus, it doesn't explain what companion does anywhere. It just says, if this card is your chosen companion, you may cast it once from outside the game. That's all it says in the reminder text. So, there is a potential for rules involving, like game rules involving how companion works, to be altered. I'm just saying.
So how do you, what can you do though?
Oh God, everybody that makes Magic videos has posted an opinion about this in the last several weeks.
Like, note that it just says you can cast it once from outside the game, but on the card it doesn't say that, like, you can cast it freely at the beginning of the game as soon as you can pay for it. It doesn't say, special conditions for that. Like, it could just be a thing of, and then it gets put wherever and now you can cast it. They could put restrictions on all kinds of nonsense. Like, it wouldn't be intuitive. Like, you'd need to know the rules, and I think that's something I'm afraid of. But
companion in and of itself is not super intuitive, so yeah, that's fine.
Like, in the grand scheme of, like, when you had totem nonsense with your auras that popped off and did things, like, a lot of things were not really intuitive back then either. Or, like, what was it, Soul Bond? Going by the text of Soul Bond did not tell you most of what Soul Bond did.
No.
So it's not like we're unprecedented for that. But
yeah,
it would definitely be interesting to see what they do, because changing how a mechanic works later means a whole lot of evaluation of what that's going to do and the fallout from that. Because the cards are already printed, so they can't tweak them to adjust for that. But I think this is a big step. I think that, to make the comparison that I feel like we were making when they first previewed the mechanics for the set, a lot of the things that they're doing here are things that are easier to implement digitally than on paper. Yeah. And that's part of a newer design philosophy that I think they're leaning into with Arena and all of that. But, like, one of the biggest advantages that games like, say, Hearthstone have over Magic is that Hearthstone can change the rules and they can change the cards.
And in fact, a balance patch on Hearthstone went live today that changed 12 cards.
Yeah. And, like, that's something they can do because it's entirely game mechanics, so you can't play it wrong. And they can literally change what it displays when people look at it. And Arena will probably be able to add further clarification if needed, too. Right now, they just need a solution that isn't in direct conflict with what's on the paper cards, or that's going to be a massive headache.
Preferably that isn't in a direct conflict. But again, it's reminder text, so it doesn't actually count.
Like, the whole thing of the restriction for what decks you can put it in will very likely stay. But
it's more
but
a change to Like, the most popular thing that I've seen people parroting is it's the 8th card in your hand at all times, which is the problem. Mm-hmm. Even though I don't think that's the problem. I think it's the variance thing, how this card is always in your hand. I don't think it's an extra card in your hand that's the problem. But whatever. Mm-hmm. One fix I've seen is that when you reveal, after you do all your mulligans and whatnot, and you reveal your commander, you then take one card and put it on the bottom of your deck, like from your hand. So in order to have a companion, you actually have an impact not only on your deck building, but on your opening hand.
Yeah, I guess really you could just start with 6 and just know that that's the 7th one sitting over there. Like you would need something on the bottom.
But like that's not... that's just one idea that, like I've seen a lot of people parroting after whoever it was came up with it in the first place. But there are any number of ways that they could try to make the whole companion thing not affect variants and be completely uninteractable if they need to. Again, this is all just if. Right now, the formats that they care about, which are Standard, Pioneer, and Modern, are okay.
Yeah. I appreciate that they're willing to tell us now that they're open to taking such a drastic step, though. That's the kind of thing that tells us they are paying attention, which we don't always get, so it's appreciated.
Yeah. So, yeah. Lurrus is a... what's the word? What is Lurrus, anyway? A cat. So Lurrus is a bad kitty. And... yeah. Zerda's too good, so we banned it. And Drannith Magistrate is... no, not Zerda. Sorry, Winota's too good, so we banned it. Zerda could be the boogeyman, so we banned it. And Drannith Magistrate is just a dick. In Brawl. So we banned it. Yeah. So...
that's the vast majority of the relevant news.
Yeah. Now, because of Lurrus's ban, the Commander rules had to have a tiny update. The part of the Commander rules used to say Commander is played with vintage legal cards. But since Lurrus is still legal, they just removed the Commander is played with vintage legal cards. There you go.
Yeah.
Just because, there are those people who'd be like, well, this isn't legal in Commander. Does that mean it got banned? They're in Commander in Vintage, so does that mean it got banned? Well, that's actually... would say, yeah. So they've just nipped that in the bud. So, Good job. All right, so that's the biggest of the big news, and then a tiny tweak related to it. Now, there are a few more things. The Love Your LGS promotion. Ow. I clocked my teeth together.
That'll teach you. Professional man.
Take that, teeth.
Stupid teeth. So, I don't even know how I did that. Something about Love Your LGS promotion. Oh, well. All right, so what is this? They're sending stuff to game stores to give away. There you go.
Yep. Some of it's really neat.
Yeah, the Hangerback Walker is getting the Godzilla treatment with Mecha Godzilla Battle Fortress. We get a nice, shiny reliquary tower. And then there's a piece of art here with Vivian. There we go. And the critter from the trailer.
Yeah.
So let's see. If you make any purchase or buy any of it. Now this starts... when does this start?
June 5.
On or after the weekend of June 5th. They're not setting an end date because of the whole worldwide places opening and not opening and whatnot. Because, the Plague Nation attacked. Oh my god. I just realized something. The U.S. is busing Say.
Was the wall your first clue?
Because there is no war in Ba Sing Se. There is no virus in the U.S. We have licked it. It is fine. That's a lie, by the way. Okay, anyway, moving on. So if you make any purchase or buy any event entry, including store-run online events, then you can get a Reliquary Tower. Limit 1 per customer while supplies last. Let's see here. If you purchase a box of any product, then you could get the Hangerback Walker. This says these are not limited to 1 per customer. Ooh. And then for stores where people are able to safely gather, which could be a while, anyone who participates in a Love Your Local Game Store event is eligible to receive an art print from the store, which would be this. Whoops, I clicked on it. So there you go. And they do say stores and players should all closely follow the advice of their local officials and only open up or go to public spaces when it's safe to do so and advised by officials. Depending on where you live in the U.S., maybe don't listen to the officials, maybe listen to scientists and doctors.
Yeah, let's go with that one, please.
Because the officials don't care if you die in some states. I'm just saying.
It's strongly recommended that these things are neat. They are not worth your health. I promise you would be able to find any of these on the secondary market later. It is cheaper than the consequences of getting sick at a bad time.
Or, getting sick and then passing it along to mom and dad and grandma and, I don't know, the cat. Unless the cat's Lurrus, in which case, screw that cat.
Maybe we should get Alf to eat it. Do it.
Ah! He's like, Nightmare Cat sounds delicious. I bet it's spicy.
Yeah.
Hey, Willie. Oh, Willie died. Oh.
Sad.
So, yeah, there you go. It seems like a weird time to do everyone go to local stores promotion, but, whatever. I guess. Sure.
I'm guessing this was planned for a while. And here we are.
I will say that I do like WotC putting an emphasis on loving your local game store.
Yeah.
There have been some things lately where I didn't think they did that very well. This one is very clearly, no, seriously, like your local game store. They're cool.
Yeah. Now, speaking of things that were primarily for your local game store, you remember the Secret Lair Ultimate Edition?
Of course not.
No. And if you don't, then this doesn't tell you anything. But hey, the release date for Secret Lair Ultimate Edition has been shifted to June 12th. Which is 2 weeks, apparently.
Wow, there's really no link to the original Secret Lair.
There's nothing. I had to go look it up. This is the From the Vaults fetch lands that comes in the giant box.
Do they not understand how hypertext works?
No, they don't, and they haven't for years.
Yeah, that's unfortunately not a new thing, but usually there's at least a picture of the product to go with it so we can infer something.
Yeah, but this time there's nothing. So it's the 5 fetch land things in the giant display box, which is just stupid. But we already ranted about all this.
Yeah. We did, yeah.
Whenever this was posted. Back in March. In the first month of March, as opposed to the 10th month of March that we're in now.
The first March.
So yeah, it was originally supposed to come out starting May 29th, but now it's June 12th. There you go. In case, that interested you.
Aha.
All right. So just a couple more things. I don't know why this is on Forbes.com and not on the Arena website, but whatever. Arena's first ever cash prize tournament. What's it called? Did they not bother to name it? The Arena Open. Oh, okay. And it's a thing. So let's see here. It starts May 30th. It's a 2-day event. And be open to all interested players over the age of 18 in eligible territories. You remember we talked about...
Yeah, could you say that one more time for me?
Yeah, over the age of 18 in eligible territories.
So if I'm under the age of 18, I should enter, is what you're saying.
I mean, you can, but you're not going to win cash prizes, so maybe don't waste your time.
Yeah.
Okay, fair.
This is a relation to a discussion we had about a Magic Fest Online kid who did really well, but isn't getting the Pro Tour invite and isn't getting the cash prize because he's underage.
Yeah.
So it's right there. So let's see here. Nice long rambling story. Okay. So you have to log in for 7 matches on May 30th before getting 3 losses. And if you go 7-3 or better, it looks like, then on May 31st, which is day 2, you have to win at least 6 out of 7 before 2 losses in order to win cash rewards. What does it cost? I'm not seeing it.
I don't think it...
Oh, it's down here. Okay, here we go. It's way down at the bottom. So, the day 1 format is best of 1, and your entry options are 20,000 gold or 4,000 gems. And you can keep entering during the time frame. So if you get your 3 losses fast, you can go, damn it, and give them more money and get another shot. You'll get 5 Godzilla lands for entering. And let's see here. If you get 3 wins, you'll get 400 gems. And if you get 7 wins, you'll get 200 gems plus day 2. 2,000 gems.
As your reminder, 4,000 gems is the cost to play.
Yeah, so you'll get half of your entry back and day 2 if you manage to get 7 wins. Now in day 2 is standard best of 3. I don't know if you can change decks, because that makes a difference. It doesn't say. That's a question to look up. But what?
I mean, they're technically separate formats, so I would hope, but that is
true. But it's one tournament, so
sure.
I don't know. But if you get 1 win on day 2, you get your other 2,000 gems. So if you manage to make it to day 2 and get 1 win, you are now playing for free. And let's see here. If you get 5 wins, you'll get 20,000 gems. 6 wins gets you $1,000, and all 7 wins on day 2 get you $2,000 US. So there you go. And yeah, chat is already disagreeing whether it's 2 events or 1 event or what. I don't know. I did see that. Who was it? Meddling Mage. Chris Picula asked on Twitter, so can you change decks? But no one had responded at that point, and I didn't bother to go back and look again. So yeah, it starts at 8 a.m. Pacific time on May 30th, day 1, and goes until 7 a.m. Pacific time, May 31st. So you've got, looks like 23 hours to try to get your day 1 done. But then on day 2, you have to join between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. Pacific time. So there's a window. Oh. It's not all day on day 2. That's very important.
No. Yeah, that's a pretty tight window.
Yeah. So
if you're not, in the U.S.
Well, I mean, everyone gets 2 hours to get there.
Yeah, but it
so
could be a really weird, wonky time for that 2 hours, depending on where on the globe you are.
I mean, I agree, but it's still more lenient than having to go to a GP.
Yeah,
where you have to be there, when it starts. So there you go. Someone asked, can you get multiple day ones? I don't know why you would try to get multiple day ones because you can only day 2 once. So...
Stock up on those Godzilla tokens.
I mean, I guess so you can try to get more gems back, but you're spending more gems, so that seems really bad.
Like, if you can't use more than one entry on day 2, then you'll never make your money back.
Now, unless you're asking chat, can you enter multiple day ones? And yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah.
You can enter as many times as you want as long as you've got time to try to get your wins. And the gold or gems to go with it. Whew. But I'm pretty sure you can only get one day 2 token because having 2 doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
So yay, there you go. This is actually a pretty big deal if you're over 18 and playing Arena and have, cash to burn. I don't know what 4,000... Cluze, have you looked up what 4,000 gems is?
Oh, no, I have no clue. I'm sorry. I haven't played Arena in months, so I don't know.
Usually you look that sort of thing means. Up whenever we bring it up.
Hey, I'll go see what I can do.
Find a conversion rate.
Ouch.
That is $1,000. No, I don't know.
I think I just assume whenever I see currencies like that and how other Magic tournaments work, I assume it's like a penny a gem, and at certain quantities of buying it, you might get price breaks. But
I'm told by chat that it's about $40.
Yeah, one person in chat said that, but the problem is there's a range. There's always a range when you're buying.
You can buy gems in bundles.
Yeah.
It is always the case that if you have more money, you're better off.
Just like in life.
Yeah.
Just like in life.
No wonder my life sucks. All right, so that's that. And look, here's a tweet about it. The tweet doesn't say anything. It just links to the Forbes article. So thanks, MTG Arena. For now, the other thing, since the last time we recorded, was that Historic Anthology 3 was revealed. But unfortunately, there are literally no links to it on the Magic website anywhere. So now we're on Scryfall.
Yeah, I think it's more like $30 because you can get 3,400 gems for $20.
No, there you go.
Wasn't it 4,000 gems to enter?
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's some con.
So 25, 30, $40, whatever.
Yeah, somewhere between 20 and $30, give or take.
Yeah. So, Historic Anthology 3.
This time it's personal.
Yeah. Last time was Electric Boogaloo. So is this Historic Anthology with a vengeance?
Sure. Why not?
I mean, it was the third one. It's like the search for Karn.
But, yeah, these are cards being added to Arena for the Historic format. And we have Akroma's Memorial, Ancient Ziggurat, Body Double, Chainer's Edict, Devil's Play, Enchantress's Presence, Gem Palm Incinerator, Gem Palm Polluter, all 5 Hondens from Kamigawa.
Neat.
That's pretty neat. Krosan Tusker, my favorite uncounterable instant that for some reason has a power and toughness. It's very strange. Momentary Blink, Maze's End, Mirari's Wake, Ratchet Bomb, Roar of the Worm, Silent Departure, Swan Song, Timely Reinforcements. Cluze, does that one make you twitch?
Timely Reinforcements?
Because it's basically the anti-red card.
Well, yeah, but at least it's not blue.
That is true.
Yeah. It is definitely a hater on an entire game style of aggro.
Yeah.
But aggro can also use it to make dudes. So
that's right.
I have seen it happen. Tectonic Reformation, Tempered Steel, Unburial Rites, and then the 2 that we already knew, Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger and Phyrexian Obliterator.
These are good choices.
So yeah, if they're looking to make Historic go, whoa, some of this is nuts.
Yeah.
And there are Hondens for some reason.
I was really surprised they put all 5 of those in there.
I mean, it's better
like,
that way.
If any of them are in there, but like you would obviously run all of you do. But yeah, not what I would have picked. But I'm happy.
So yeah, the Hondens, just in case you don't know, are legendary enchantments from Champions of Kamigawa that all have the subtype Shrine, and they all have, at the beginning of your upkeep, do something for each shrine you control. So gain 2 life, or deal damage to a target, or make a spirit, not a sapperling, or opponent discards a card, or you draw a card.
This escalates quickly.
It does, yeah. Having 2 Hondens of any given combination out is just ridiculous, and it just goes up from there.
Like, there are definitely formats where, as expensive as it is, just playing the green one and getting a token a turn would be considered an okay idea. It costs 5. Getting a token every turn is very slow. But once you get 2 tokens a turn, you've gone off, and everything on top of that is rubbing it in. Like, it's crazy. And that's just the green one, which is kind of slow.
Yeah.
I made a deck that used all 5 of them very early on in my Magic career, and like, spoiler alert, if you get 3 of them up and one of them is the black one, your opponent doesn't get it. They're just going to discard 3 cards. They are top decking.
It's true.
It's super gross.
So there you go. That's it. That's what we got.
Yeah, that's what we got.
I'm well aware that there was a Magic Fest online, but I don't care to dig through Channel Fireball's website, and their coverage website is just gone.
It just doesn't work.
I don't know if it's
It was
intentionally
banned in
gone or
Vintage.
unintentionally gone, but regardless, it's gone.
I think someone pointed out to them that channel can be banned, and so they just decided to hide. But yeah, everything else that we have here is just reminders. So, do we want to do that?
Reminders?
You've got very little time left if you want to grab all your Planeswalker point data.
Right. The link for
Oh,
that it will be in the show notes again.
Yeah, May 27th is a week from Wednesday. So 9 days from right now. Be aware that time may be weird, but it is still marching on.
So here's the coverage.channelfireball.com site. Isn't that nice? I thought that was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was the Red Bull Untapped or whatever it was called event this weekend, but no one cares. And
Sure.
yeah, there it was something about a Command Fest online. So if that interests you, you already know about it. So
Yeah.
have a party.
Some of my general disinterest with all of these things are like, if I can't find out about stuff by going to the Wizards website, I just don't treat it as real anymore. Between offloading so much of their tournament stuff to other websites and it being really hard to find things, and the fact that their big crazy arena event is in Forbes and not even mentioned on the Wizard site or on the calendar or anywhere else I looked on Arena, tells me that who knows.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll post something tomorrow and that they just gave Forbes dibs, but still, it is confusing if I hear about a thing and I go to the Wizards website and I can't find it. That's just
Chat says the big arena thing is being officially announced tomorrow in the state of the game. Well, then why did they announce it today on Forbes?
I don't think they're benefiting a great deal from Forbes doing the announcement and then them going, we better wait. We don't want to pull attention away from Forbes. Like, no, that's not strategy. You sync them up and announce both. Forbes is not there to bring in Magic people. It's there to bring in people that kind of care about Magic. And the Magic people are just going to look on the Wizards website. So,
Bill works in marketing, by the way, so
we're
he's
not
just
competing
talking
with
at his
them.
ass.
Yeah, you're not competing with Forbes. It also doesn't matter if people see something in two places at the same time. That doesn't hurt anything. Like Forbes isn't gonna be, man, you guys spiked our announcement to Wizards. It's not a thing.
It wouldn't surprise me if Forbes paid some money to Wizards to be able to have exclusive, but Maybe? I've also been ranting about the Epic Games Store a lot lately, which is what they do. So.
Oh yeah. I mean, I guess Forbes also just wants to produce X amount of content in hopes that people will pay them money for it.
I guess.
That's weird. Like, having random people make your announcements is always a questionable choice unless they're reaching new audiences. But that doesn't mean you don't also announce. But hey, we'll see what they say tomorrow. Maybe they'll give us more details and clarify one event versus two events, same deck carryover, whether or not they will ban all eventage in time to not impact the event. Who knows? So should we wrap up, I guess?
Yeah, we have nothing else to discuss.
Yeah, them's the Magic news. So yeah, you can find me on Twitter at SqueeGoblinNabob. There's no I in Goblin because it actually got trapped under the anti-cards when they started banning things a long time ago, and occasionally sneaks out with a conspiracy to have a party. Beyond that,
to play a sub game.
To play a sub game under the table because they're hanging out with Scheherazade and the blanket fort. It's good times. I'm glad I have a signed Scheherazade. Like, of all the Magic cards that I would get signed, that's definitely one of them. It's also really funny to interact with the Foglios because they're like, yeah, we did Magic cards a long time ago. Every once in a while we sign them. We don't actually know if they're good or bad or what, but we're happy and people like it, so roll with it.
That's the important bit.
I think I still have Phil Foglio on my phone.
That's not weird at all.
Yeah. Anyway, so other than that, like most of what I've been doing with Twitter lately is honestly just posting what playlist I'm listening to while I'm doing work stuff because I'm linking to playlists. They're fun to listen to. It's good background noise. I'm not really reading Twitter feeds because half of it's people complaining about Magic and the other half it's people complaining about the state of the world. And it's important to learn how to separate different things instead of just living entirely in a state of misery. Don't be ignorant of the world around you, but learn how much you can handle before it eats you. And I'm trying to spread that out a bit. And Twitter is not exactly the environment where the most reasonable voices are the loudest. So
yeah,
not where I go to for that. I get my politics from reviewed websites, journalists, things like that. I don't get it from a random person with 6,000 followers. Not really where I get my news.
And definitely not from a random person with 27 followers.
Oh man, but that egg icon is like striking to the truth of Twitter.
Shows their OG.
It lets you know that they're not going to change their profile for anybody.
Well, because they're a butt.
Beep boop.
Also, 10th Tech Priest just subbed for the 21st month and said, remember to disinfect your keys and phone after you go outside. Yeah, that's been such a pain in my ass ever since this whole thing started is whenever I come in from a DoorDash shift, I have to disinfect my keys and my phone. And I really need to take some keys off of the damn ring.
Yeah.
And maybe lose a ring because I've got 2 for some reason, and that's just more stuff I have to do this to. And when I have to, and all of these have happened when I really have to pee, or I'm really hungry, or I have something in my eye. There's nothing I can do until I've disinfected everything, remove the gloves, wash the hands, then I can pee, eat, or dig a boulder out of my eye.
Do not confuse any of these tasks.
That is important, yeah. But that is good. Yes, everyone should totally do that.
As another thing, like this is going to be really obvious in hindsight, but I don't see a lot of people knowing they can do this. You can use the speakerphone on your phone when you're not surrounded by other people. It's okay. It's less time that your phone is against your face. I know most people don't make calls anymore anyway, but if you do, use the speakerphone. It's fine. You're probably not out in public. You shouldn't be out in public. so you don't have to worry about being rude, and it's less face-to-phone time.
Wait, what do you mean speakerphone? You mean where you hold the phone out in front of yourself like this and talk on it? That has a name? I thought that was just called using the phone.
There's also a button that actually activates the microphone a lot better, and it makes it a lot louder. It's this ancient technology.
Yeah, that's called using the phone. Right? I thought that was you hit the answer button and then you hit the use phone button.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, like I have an iPhone, so I can't hold it up to my face, or else I can't hear what people are saying. So
right.
It's an amazing computer in your hands. It's a terrible phone.
Yeah, it's a baby tablet at this point.
Ow.
But yeah, that's a thing that people should probably use more often if they're still making calls. The frequency with which I see people walking around outside holding their phone against their face, I'm like, please stop. I promise if you're outside, you've already touched something, and now you're touching your phone, and now your phone is on your face, and you've already failed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Other than that, is something that's just quick and fun. I'll note that despite my cynicism when the demo came out, I did enjoy FF7 Remake, which I said before. I've been playing it again on hard mode because it does New Game Plus, which is something every game should have. And hard mode has been a lot of fun and a lot of challenge. And so if you're still out there playing it, give hard mode a go after you finish it. I promise it's appropriately labeled hard mode.
Did you get all the what is it you were looking dresses? Did you get all the dresses you wanted?
I still have to get the last 3, but
are these like achievement equivalents or something? I guess you're on PlayStation trophy equivalents or something.
I mean, you get trophies for doing it, but the thing is, there's each of the 3 characters who get dresses can get 3 ones, and you're only going to get 1 each playthrough.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And which one you get depends on what things you did in 3 different chapters. So if you want to get all of them, you have to replay 3 chapters over and over again. But they are branching path chapters, so like it's not the exact same thing and make a different dialogue choice. So it's not quite that.
I gotcha.
But no, it's been fun. I defeated the optional super boss yesterday, and it was super satisfying, and it took forever. But I did it, and I felt great. And then I went on YouTube and found someone who did it in 2 minutes. I'm like, right. There are those people.
There are always those people, yeah.
The people that actually have done the grind out infinite stats thing and totally school things. And I'm over here like, it took me 45 minutes when I finally won that gauntlet. And it was like my 10th attempt. So, yeah. But I was having fun. The gameplay is good. Like, playing as Cloud is the biggest mistake they can do for showing off how good the gameplay is, because Cloud kind of sucks. The trick is to play as Tifa and pretend it's Smash Brothers and just destroy everything with your fists. And then make a dolphin kill someone. It's a good time. And that's my tirade on that game. So now I will give it over to Cluze.
Hey, if you'd like to hear more from me, I am on the Twitters. I'm at Cluze, spelled just like it is in the show notes. But I got to tell you, squeeze onto something. Maybe don't go to Twitter all that much. It's probably a good place to avoid. I have recently come back to Breath of the Wild after having been away for a long time. I put up a poll to see if people thought that I should just push on because I'm like really close to the end. I've unlocked nearly all the shrines. I've got a whole bunch of hearts, whole bunch of stamina. I just haven't done the whole, go assault Ganon thing. Calamity Ganon, excuse me. So I put up a poll
Jane, but Ganon?
I'm sorry?
Is that like Calamity Jane, but Ganon?
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
I put up a poll to see if I should just push on or if I should start over. Because, I put a lot of time into this game. And the Twitter poll was extremely helpful in that it was overwhelmingly, evenly split. 51% thought that I should restart, and 49% said that I should push on.
I voted push on.
So that's definitive. So right now I'm pushing on just because I started playing again, and I do remember a lot of it. So we'll see. I don't know. It's kind of fun. So that's neat. Other than that, I'm baking. So I made bread last week, and I made pretzels last week, and the pretzels were amazing.
They looked really good. He sent us a picture.
They were very tasty.
Your carbomancy is growing.
Yeah, it is. It is. So I keep sending them to Squee, since of course he's not eating the. I'm sorry, Squee. I'll stop sending you those pictures.
It doesn't actually bother me. No,
okay,
I'm
then I'll keep
by
sending
Facebook way more than I'm annoyed by you, because Facebook apparently decided that, telling anyone at all that I'm doing keto and not eating bread means I only get ads for donuts and pizza now.
Nice.
That's it. Just donuts and pizza. Constant donuts and pizza.
And the bread was good, but it wasn't as good as the pretzels. The pretzels were amazing. That's what I'll say. Let's see now. Other than that, nothing interesting going on. I mean, as far as I know, the world's fine. Yeah, the world's fine, right? Nothing, no problems out there. I haven't been paying attention.
Cluze, talk to me after class.
Oh, okay. All right, sure. Yeah, I'll stick around.
I think it's become clear who didn't do the reading.
Oh, boy. Other than that, wash your hands. When you're done, wash your hands again. And then about 10 minutes after that, you should probably wash your hands. And I will pass things over to Chewie, I guess.
Oh, if you're using a reusable mask, you're supposed to wash those.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I know that people say that, but I'm saying it again, because I know a lot of people that don't do that. To take out the filter, put in a new one, and, like, in the middle step, wash the mask.
Yeah.
These are things you can do. There's a million guides online. You're not helping yourself nearly as much if you're not cleaning the mask.
Yeah, that washing bit's really important.
All right.
Yeah.
So, first and foremost, on Saturdays, right here on twitch.tv/themanapool, we're doing Twitch watch parties. So if you're in the US, apologies for that. And if you have Amazon Prime, apologies for that, then you can come watch with us. The US thing is, while it's still in beta, hopefully they will work past that soon-ish. But the have Amazon Prime thing is totally not going to change. Sorry. But I put up a poll after consulting chat after our last one where we watched Clue, which is like the best movie ever. And the poll said, what should we watch? Now, it's got 22 hours left, but I don't think any number of votes are going to change this. The options were Cabin in the Woods, which is an excellent deconstruction of horror films, while still being an excellent horror film in and of itself. Vampire's Kiss, which is Nicolas Cage at his most cageist, I'm pretty sure. It's a bizarre-ass movie, and if you've ever seen the clip of Nicolas Cage reciting the alphabet in true Cage fashion, that's from that movie. Street Fighter the movie, which needs no introduction, and The Disaster Artist, which is the movie with the Franco brothers, James and his brother. I don't know his brother's name. Do you guys know James Franco's brother's name? The other guy that was in
James Franco.
Do what?
I just like to believe they're both James Franco.
I mean, it could be, yeah. But it's about the making of the film The Room, which is well-known. The three of us were actually on the School of Movies episode about The Room so long ago. But it's a well-known horrible movie. But Greg Sestero wrote a book about it called The Disaster Artist, which got turned into a film, and it's actually really good. So I guess it works better if you know The Room, but I think it still works if you don't. It's just...
We actually went and saw it in a theater.
Yeah.
And that was one of the rare times where, like, Chewie and I actually got to see a movie at the same time. And I'm pretty confident I would have enjoyed that movie if I hadn't seen The Room. But I feel like having seen The Room and had the same conclusions that a lot of the cast did, just watching it, made it much more satisfying when the characters in Disaster Artist also jumped to those conclusions.
Yeah. Like, her belly button?
Belly button was the one I was thinking of.
I know it's the one you're thinking of.
You remember me commenting when we watched The Room and you'd already seen it? And, like, I was just hitting the same checklist that you were doing real time?
It was awesome.
Yeah.
It looks like Cabin in the Woods and Street Fighter the movie are winning. And, like I said, are going to win. So, on Saturday, this coming Saturday, we're watching both of these. I just need to figure out what order we're watching it in. So I'm probably going to put up another poll asking, hey, what order do we watch these in? But yeah, so we're gonna watch Cabin in the Woods and Street Fighter the movie on Saturday, right here on twitch.tv/themanapool. So come join us. They've all been fun thus far. We watched some Star Trek The Next Generation episodes for the first 2 weeks. And then 2 weeks? Might have been 3. We did time travel episodes, then we did time travel episodes, then we did Borg episodes. So yeah, for the first 3 weeks. And then we watched Clue, and now we're going to watch these two. Because Clue, we were watching 4 episodes of The Next Generation, which it's roughly an hour apiece. Roughly, when you count, talking in between and giving people a chance to get up and go pee and whatnot. And then last week we watched Clue, and we were done, and it was really awkward. Like, I was like, I feel like I should keep streaming, but there's nothing to do. I don't know. So now we're just going to watch 2 movies, damn it. It's going to be a TMP Watch Party double feature. Yes. All right. And then next week, after that, I will do another poll with 4 more movies. Probably the 2 that didn't win, and 2 others. Just going to have a rolling list. And that's just what we're going to do on Saturdays from now on. And it's going to be awesome. Okay. And also, I stream games here on this channel. I play Skyrim usually Friday nights after a DoorDash shift. It's just nice, chill Friday night Skyrim. I hiccup.
Yeah.
I'm playing Shadowgate, the 2014 remake, right now. Not right now, but that's the thing I'm currently playing on stream. It's Shadowgate is an old first-person point-and-click game that was ported from the Mac. It's a Mac Venture game originally, I think, but it's ported to the NES, and I love it. It's so good. It's also stupid hard. But in 2014, a company did a complete remake of it that's not just like DuckTales remastered. Where it just got pretty graphics. It got pretty graphics, and they changed a lot of stuff. They added a lot of stuff. They moved around a lot of stuff. It's more like the Resident Evil HD remake. Yeah. Where you'll recognize things from it, but stuff is different and it's much longer. Like the original took 2 hours. Yeah, I'm 3 hours in and I'm not halfway yet.
Yeah.
So it's been really cool, all the different ways to die in Shadowgate, because there are a lot of ways to die in Shadowgate. I love point-and-click adventure games, by the way.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's what is going on there. And then over on YouTube, what went up today was or yesterday if you're watching this when it goes up tomorrow, was the TMP Nerf report, where Mike and I talked about all those cards in Hearthstone that were nerfed and buffed. Nerfed and buffed. They did nerfs and buffs at the same time. That's actually momentous. Because usually they don't do buffs at all, and when they do, it's very rare. So yay. And Shadowgate will start going up soon, and I just finished Halo Wars. Yeah, lots of stuff going on over there. Now, if you want to help support what I do, I should tell you that Manapool Productions on the whole is a Patreon-supported endeavor. So, if you go to patreon.com/themanapool, you can sign up to become a lifeguard, which will get you stuff. You can get Manapool episodes and YouTube videos early. You can get access to the odds and ends, which, let's see, I've got all the way up to February are posted now. And all of the ones up until today, I have started the prep work on putting them together. So I'm going to get those caught up in short order, for realsies and serious, because it's killing me having all these numbers up on my white. It's what I keep looking at. All these numbers up on my whiteboard over here. It's pissing me off. And I'm going to get them all with the red dot on one side to show that I've done the first step, and then the red dot on the other side to show that I've done more steps, and then the line through it to show that it's up. And right now they've all got the dot on the left side, and some of them have a dot on the right side. I'm very excited about that. And also, hey, Saint Saigal threw a thousand bits and said, "Yay, lifeguards!" Well, thank you. Damn. So yeah, also, you can get the sponsorship shout out on both podcasts and at the end screen of each YouTube video. So hey, let me shout out the Mythic Lifeguards. Jason Doan, Kim Maho, Andrew Hunt, Al, Lance Delicious, Team Uhillas Are You, Connor Kennedy, John Morris, Alex Gonzalez, Scuzzo, Jeff Spencer, Stuart Law. Oh, come on. Oh my god, that's been happening all the time lately. No? Alright, let's see if I can get through this before that comes out. Where did I stop? Stuart Law, PJ McMullen, Casey, Danny Liao, Cody. Nope. Cody Buckowing, Jake Jansons, Jason Cowles, John Parker, Aleph Cat, Beardy Man, Bartle, Backwards Logic, ALK Alters, and the Beast Father, Aaron Goodwine. Oh my god. Alright, with that, we're going to stop now before I actually do sneeze all over everything. So, I hope you all have a fabulous, period of time until we next talk to you. And come back on Wednesday for probably more Shadowgate. Probably. Yeah. So thank you all. I'm gonna sneeze.
It's like we could help them, but we're not.
Damn it. So thank you all
Killing me.
so very much for joining us. And Lurrus is a bad kitty.